again, my little yarnivores and spiderettes, Fiber Spider back again with a continuation of this sort of spiral flower type doily. So we're on round 7 here, and we're going to continue right on where we left off. Okay, so very much like our last round, I'm going to start right in by doing a slip stitch into the next stitch. Alrighty, and yep, you guessed it, chain up 3, 1, 2, and 3 for a double crochet, and then we need 4 more double crochets. So going to do 2 more right here, 1 in each of these stitches. So that's 1 and 2, and then 2 into the chain space right here. So we've got a total of 5. And then very much like the last round, where it's alternating between chain 3 spaces and chain 5 spaces, same difference, and still doing the same number of double crochets into each bunch. So chaining of 3, 1, 2, and 3, skipping the first double, going into the next. So that's 1, 2, 3, and then 2 doubles into the chain space. So that's 4 and 5. Okay, so we have a chain 3 space, so now we need a chain 5 space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skipping the first double, going into the next with a double, and 4 more doubles. So that's 1 and 2, and then 2 doubles into the chain space. All right. So that's a total of 5 doubles, and we did a 5 chain here, so we need another 3 chain. 1, 2, 3. Skip the first double, going into the next. That's 1, 2, hello. 2 and 3, and then 2 doubles into the chain space. All right, and then so we had 3 chains right here, so we have to go back to 5 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip the first double, going into the next. So that's 2, 3, and then 2 more into the chain space. Okay, and so that was what, a chain 5 right there, so I need a chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Skip the first double, going to the next double, and that's pretty much how the rest of this round is going to go. You know, it's always, for this particular round, groupings of 5 double crochets, always skipping the first one, then doing the next 3, and then 2 into the chain space. The only difference is a matter of going back and forth between 3 chains, 5 chains, 3 chains, 5 chains, 3 chains, and then I'm going to be doing 5 chains again. Okay, so I'm going to meet back up with you when I've finished this round. You know, just keep going in the exact same way. You know, like I said, 5 double crochets separated by either a 5 or a 3 chain. Just alternate back and forth, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I'm almost done with round 7. You know, I just kept on going on as I was going on. You know, I have a chain 3 space, a chain 5 space, still 5 double crochets in each cluster. You know, nothing really changed, you know. So I need to do a chaining of 3. 1, 2, 3. Again, skipping that first one, going into the next. And I need my 5 doubles. So I got my 3, and then 2 in the chain space. Okay, and then last but not least, chaining a 5 and a slip stitch to the top there. Gotta bridge the gap. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then going right up into the top of that third chain right there, doing a slip stitch. Ta-da! All right, and that is the end of round 7. Okay, see, now each of these petals, if you will, it's starting to fan out and grow, and oh, I'm loving it. All right, we'll continue right along. All right, round 8. Things are progressing pretty much the same with, again, a little bit of a twist. All right, so we're going to start by slip stitching into the first stitch right there. Okay, so doing that, going to start by chaining up 3 once again. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and then we need to continue on by creating 6 more double crochets. So 1, 2, 3. So we've got a total of 4. We need a total of 7. Okay, so into this chain space, 3 double crochets, so that we have a nice total of 7. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 3 that we just did into the chain space. Okay, then chain 3. Now this is where things get a little bit different. Okay, so now we are going to skip 3 double crochets, 1, 2, and 3, and then going into the next double crochet for the remainder of our double crochets. So skipping those 3, okay, and we need 6 more double crochets. So that's 1, and then the second one is within a double crochet, then 5 more into this chain space. So that's a total of 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, then continuing on by chaining 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then skipping the first double, going into the next, and then 6 more double crochets for a total of 7. So 2, 3, 4, and then 3 more into the space for a total of 7. So that's 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so again, this is, it's a little bit weird, but it works. It does actually work, because it's continuing the same count of double crochets. Okay, 7, 7, 7, and the alternation between the chains, again, 3 chains, 5 chains. The difference really is where you're making the double crochets into, okay? Because right here, it's 3 double crochets within the space, then skipping these 3, doing 5 in that chain space, and then back to 3 in this chain space, and then we're going to be doing 5 in this chain space. So again, there is that rhythmic quality to it. It's just a matter of following through with the flow of it. Okay. So did our 5 chains right here, so I have to go back to 3 chains. So 1, 2, and 3, and skipping the first 3 double crochets, going into that 4th one. Okay, so that's 1 and 2, and then 5 more into the chain space. So that's 4, total of 5, 6, and should be 7. Yep, okay. So that was what, a chaining of 3, so I need to do a chaining of 5 now. 1, 2, 3, 4, come on, 5, okay, and then skipping the first double crochet going into the next, and we need 6 more for a total of 7, so that's 2, 3, 4, into the chain space with 5, 6, and 7. Now, again, we did our 5 chains right here, so we need to do 3 chains over here. And we only skipped that first one, so now we need to skip 3. Again, it's alternating, back and forth with the rhythm. So skipping the first 3 double crochets going into the 4th. So that's 1, 2, and then 5 more double crochets within the chain space. So that's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Perfect. Okay. So then, chaining of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip the first double crochet going into the next. Pretty sure that's correct. Yep, because we skipped 3 over here, so we're only skipping 1 over here. All right, so that's 1. I need 6 more. So that's 2, 3, 4, and then 3 into the space. 5, 6, and 7. Okay. I have my yarn in a bowl actually, but the ball is fairly large, so it doesn't roll very easy, so I have to keep pulling out yarn periodically. I'm sorry. All right, now, where was I? All right, so I did my chaining of, what was it? My chaining of 5, so I need a chaining of 3. So that's 1, 2, and 3. skip the first 3 double crochets going into the 4th with a double, and then into the next, and 5 more doubles into the chain space. 1, 2, for a total of 4. I need 3 more. 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so where am I at? Where am I at? I'm about halfway. All right. All right. It's difficult for me to film clips that are more than 10 minutes long, so I'm going to end this clip here, and I'm going to keep on going with the same round because I know it's a little fiddly. All right, I'll be right back. All right, so continuing right along with round 8, we did a chaining of 3 right here, so I need a chaining of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip the first double going into the next. All right, I can do better than that. Seriously, I can do better than that. All right. So that's 1, and then 6 more. 2, 3, 4, and then 3 into the chain space. So that's 5, 6, and 7. Okay, then chaining of 3, 1, 2, 3, skip 3 double crochets going into the 4th, 6 more double crochets for a total of 7, so we've got our second one in the double here, and then 5 into this chain space. So that's 3, 4 total, 5, 6, and 7. All right, so that's 2, 4, yes, okay. So then, chaining of 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip the first double going into the next. Okay, like so. 6 more doubles. So that's 2, 3, 4, and then 3 doubles into the chain space for a total of 7. So that's 5, 6, and 7. Okay. All right, then a chaining of 3. 1, 2, 3. Skip the first 3 doubles going into that 4th. Okay. Double into the next double. And then 5, excusez-moi, 5 doubles into this chain space here for a total of 7. So that's a total of 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. And we just need to get over to here, and then we'll be good. Okay. So then, chaining of 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip the first, going into the next. 6 more for a total of 7. So that's 2, 3, 4, and into the chain space, 5, 6, and 7. Okay. Chaining of 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, and then skipping the first 3 doubles, going into the 4th. And so we've got 1 in each there, and then 5 more into the chain space for a total of 7. So that's 3, 4, 5. Oh, hello. 5, 6, and should be 7. Yep, okay, good. All right, then chaining a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip the first double, going into the next. Six more doubles for a total of 7. So that's 3 and 4, and then 3 more doubles into the chain space. So that's 5, 6, and 7. Okay. Chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Skip the first 3 doubles, going into the 4th with the double. So that's 2, and then 5 more into the chain space. 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Yes, okay, good. Now, joining up here, it's a little bit different. Instead of chaining 5 and doing a slip stitch, I'm going to do it a little bit different because we need our connection in the middle, and I'm going to show you what I mean. We're going to only chain 2, okay, and then do a double crochet into the top of this chain 3. Now, I know it's a little bit weird, but it'll make sense in a bit. All right, so doing a double crochet into there instead of a slip stitch, okay? Now, the reason for this is the chaining 2 plus the double crochet does equal a total of 5 chains. Like when we first start off doing a chaining of 3 to count it as a double, well, so that counts as a double there, which is 3 plus 2, 5 chains, right? Okay. Now, the reason why we do that is because we want to start our next round in the middle of this archway, okay? So that's the reason and the method behind that madness, just so that makes a bit more sense, okay? So you don't want to chain 5 and then do a slip stitch. No, it's much easier if you just chain 2 and do a double crochet where we would have done a slip stitch, okay? I hope that makes sense. I really do. All right, so that's the end of round 8. All right, round 9. Now, this round is going to be comparatively easier than the last one, so you're in for a treat. All right, so now for round 9, all right, we ended our last round in the middle of our archway, and there is the reason for that, and you will see that in a moment. All right, so to begin with, what we need to do actually is to chain 1, and then do a single crochet into the stitch right here underneath, into that double crochet just a little bit. Now, it may seem a little bit fiddly and weird, but it'll make it easier when we connect, when we get back to the beginning again. And I'm going to do that again for you. All right, so I chained 1, and then just going right into this loop right here. And it helps if you catch 2 loops, just to make it a bit more stable, okay? Doing a a single crochet right there. Okay, then chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And now here comes the fun part. It's just 15 double crochets, and I'm going to explain the pacing of it. Skipping this first double crochet, going into the next, like so. All right, so that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The next 4 go into this chain space, so that'll make, see, we did 6, so it's 7, 8, 9, and 10. So we've got 4 in the chain space, and then 5 more. So that's 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, leaving these last 2 double crochets alone. Okay, then when we get to the chain space, it's really just a matter of chaining 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet into the chain space, like so, and then another chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're doing the exact same thing again. So skipping the first double crochet, going to the next. And so there's no variation with this round. It's very straightforward. So that's why I said it's a bit of a treat. So skipping the first double crochet, going to the next. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The next 4 go into the chain space. So that's 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 5 more. 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. And if you counted correctly, which, yay, I did, you're leaving off these last 2 once again. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Single crochet into the chain space. Chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, skip that first double crochet, going into the next. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4 more into the chain space, so that's 7, 8, 9, and 10. Then 5 more into the doubles. 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Again, we have 2 left over, which is great. So basically just keep doing this exact same thing, chaining 5 from here, single crochet into the chain space, chain 5 again, skip this first one, and then do 15, making sure that 7, 8, 9, 10 are in this chain space here. All right, so I'm going to keep on keeping on for the rest of this round, and I will meet back up with you to show you how to connect to where we started right here. Okay, I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I'm almost done with round 9. I already did my 6, so I just need to do my stitches into the chain space with 7, 8, 9, and 10, then 5 more. So that would be 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. All right, so we have our 2 left over as per usual. Very good. Then what we do is, yet again, we chain 2, and because it would be a chaining of 5, right? Well, again, we need our stitch to end in the middle of that chaining of 5. So chaining of 2, and then into that single crochet, do a double crochet. See, we have our single crochet right in here, right there, and we're doing a double crochet within it. So that we end up with our stitch starting and ending in the middle of that chain 5, figuratively speaking. So that is why we did what we did at the beginning. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Alrighty, alrighty. So that is the end of round 9. All right, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you. I love to spread out the piece to show you where we're at. You know, it eliminates some of the concerns, doubts, and fears that are so easy to succumb to. Now, also, the spaces in between the petals seem to be a little wonky, but as we finish, they will work themselves out. You know, I mean, I know it seems a little weird right now, but it will work out, as you could see by the purple one that I did before. But you can really see that the pinwheeling petal effect is really coming to life. It's gorgeous. You know, it's sort of like the Nautilus blanket that I did before, but it works up a lot faster than the Nautilus because this is all double crochets as opposed to singles. Also, this is much more of a defined pattern. Perhaps this could be modified to create a blanket pattern. I don't know if I'm going to ever try it, but it's something to think about. All right, so I'm going to continue right on with round 10. Alrighty. All right, round 10. All right, we're going to start round 10 just like we started the last round by chaining up 1 and then doing a single crochet. Now another thing that you could also do is to do the single crochet right into this space as well, as opposed to going through the double. Either or, you know, I mean, it's such a very minor moot point that I'm going to do it on this one right here. So just going in, pulling up a loop, and single crochet. See, it really looks pretty much exactly the same, you know. So that's one way else that you can also do the exact same thing, quite frankly. But for continuity purposes, I'm going to go back into that double as I did on the previous round. But really, it's the same thing. Okay, so after doing that, we're going to continue right along, footloose and fancy free, and we are going to chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, single crochet into the chain space right here. All right, then chain 5 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, skipping the first 2 double crochets going into the third, we need to do a total of 11 double crochets. And also, this round, very simple, because it's, it's just going to follow suit all the way around. So skipping these first 2, need a total of 11. So that's 2 and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And we have 2 left over on this end. So it's nice and symmetric. So we skip the first 2, and we're going to skip the last 2. All right. And then we've reached our chain spaces. So again, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet into the first chain space. Okay, chain 5 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, single crochet into the next chain space. Then chain 5 again, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And again, same deal as before, skipping the first 2 double crochets going into the third, and double crochet 11 double crochets. And that is really how the rest of this round is going to go. It's as simple as that. So the last round and this round, I mean, they're kind of like freebies, You really don't have to think about them. You don't have to worry about them. Just be sure to skip the first 2 and leave off before the last 2. And as I'm kibitzing and chit-chatting aimlessly, I don't even have to think about where I need to stop, because, see, I need to just do 2 more, and then I'm done. The earlier rounds create the foundation, and those you really need to be careful of with your counts. That's why I always double count. It's very rare that I don't. But right now, see, just got to skip those 2. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet into the next chain space. Chain 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet into the next chain space. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Skip the first 2 double crochets going into the third, just as we have been. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And yep, we have 2 left over. Perfect. Perfect. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet into the next chain space. Do it again. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Single crochet into the next chain space, like so. chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then skip the first 2 double crochets going into the third for another 11 double crochets. So really that's all you need to do for the rest of this round until we reach the very beginning again, which of course I'm going to follow up with you. So as you can see, we go from 1 space to 2 spaces to 3 spaces. It's sort of the natural succession of things. So I'm going to keep on keeping on, and I will meet back up with you when I'm almost done. All right, be right back. All right, so for the conclusion of round 10, I have just a little bit more to go. So I already did my 2 chains of 5. I need 1 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then, as always, skipping the first 2 going into the third with the double crochet for 11. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And then, last but not least, we need to bridge the gap, right? So instead of chaining 5, it is a chaining of 2, and then double crochet into this first single crochet right there. So I'm going to double crochet into there, and that is the end of round 10, because again, we need to begin and end in the middle of the arch right here. All right, so that's round 10, and we're going to continue right along. We're very close to being done. We are just a couple more rounds to go. All right, be right back with round 11. Hey, Yarnivores. Sorry, I did try to post this video into 2 parts. However, the uploading was a bit of a problem, so I had to break it up even further so that there's going to be a 3rd part for this series. I do apologize for the drawing out of the tutorial, but technological difficulties, sort of got in the way. I do apologize, but part 3 will be posted as well. So please be patient with me, and, we'll get right to it. All right, thank you. See you soon.